Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 19 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Adam. Happy belated birthday, Adam. His birthday was on July 7th. I missed it by accident because that sucked. But I hope you had an awesome day. And thank you so much for your support. We really, really appreciate it. And if you guys want me to miss your birthdays, check out our Patreon link in the info box below so you can be house guest of the day. Woo! Alright, so yesterday they had the Power Veto competition. It was hosted by Jason, and the players were Paul, Ramses, Alex, Josh, Matt, and Elena. It sounds like it was a wild competition. They had a travel theme, there was like an airport terminal, and they had to go through I think 5 different stations. There was math involved, there was memory stuff in there, and there were also like these delays, like you could either kind of like blow through a station, or if you mess up and get a question wrong, you could be delayed. And I think there was also some international foods there. I don't know. I heard something about like, what are the snail eggs? Is that like escargot or whatever?
It's not eggs.
Oh, whatever. I don't eat that shit. But anyway, there was food involved. So anyway, it was an individually timed competition, which is why it took forever, and Paul won the competition. So guess what? Looks like he will follow through with his plan. Cody will go up on the block, and Cody will go home on Thursday. No! Okay, as much as Cody is like freaky deaky, I really wanted him to stay this week because he brings the drama, and I really appreciate that. But maybe he'll come back in a battle back. We don't know. So anyway, when the feeds come back after the competition, you got 2 cameras on most of the house guests who are being all jovial and talking about the competition. They're all excited about Paul's win. And then on the other 2, you have Jess and Cody sitting forehead to forehead on the lily pad in the have-not room in complete silence. It was so freaking bizarre. Oh my god. Do you guys ever just switch back and forth for fun, like really quickly, and it's like, ah! Ah! It was like that. So they were just sitting there like, anyway, I gotta be real with you guys right now. As much as I enjoy Paul, he is on a real power trip right now. It's crazy. So he was up in the HOH room with Raven, Matt, and Mark, and he can't just enjoy this win. He is freaking pissed. He said that Ramses was trying in the Power Veto competition, and he's not happy about that. I think Ramses was close to winning. So, girl, you gotta stop that. Lucy's trying to throw her toys around right now. Ah! Alright, I will come back in. It's mine now! Okay, so anyway, Paul is pissed because Ramses was trying in the Power Veto competition, and Paul specifically asked Ramses not to cheat on him. Just kidding, that's an office quote. But he asked Ramses to throw this competition, which I think was really dumb. How do you honestly expect somebody who's up on excuse me, miss, can you please sit down? Can you please have a seat? Woo! Do you honestly expect somebody who's up on the block to throw the POV competition? Because I would never ask that of somebody, and if somebody asked me to do that, I would be like, Puck, you get a life. Okay, so Paul actually expected him to follow through with this, so then he was like, I'm gonna publicly humiliate Ramses, and I'm gonna try to scare the crap out of him. We're all gonna tell him next week after Cody's gone that if Ramses doesn't win HOH or the veto, he's going home. Damn, man, you don't gotta be like that. It's messed up. So Paul is also pissed at Jason because he's been talking to Cody so much, and he's not into that. He's really paranoid that they're going to try and like pull a fast one and keep Cody this week. And also, Paul's going back on one of his promises earlier this week, bless you. He promised Alex that he would use the Power Veto on her, but now he's thinking about going back on that. He wants to make sure that the votes are there to get rid of Cody, and he figures if Alex is still up on the block, that's going to secure Jason and Ramsey's votes for Cody to go. Okay, so then Ramses joins them in the HOH room as they're talking about him. Oh my god. So he's like, hey guys, like, I know that looks super sketchy, but I honestly was trying to throw the competition. And Paul's like, it did look super sketchy. So then Paul is like, I told you when we found out that it was a timed competition, you should just max out your time. We don't have to worry about anything. And Ramses is like, yeah, I didn't want to do that because I wanted it to look like I tried. And Paul's just like, well, whatever. I don't really care. I can still carry out my plan. Really? You don't care? That's why you've been complaining about it for like how long now? Okay, so then a few minutes later, Paul was with Mark and Elena, and Paul is like, Ramses was trying to win that competition so that he could work with Cody, Jess, and Jason next week. See, he's like super paranoid that something's gonna go wrong with this plan, and Ramses is now one of the top targets. It's like, next week they're thinking, let's either get rid of Jess or Ramses. Like, he's at that level now, which is so crazy because he hasn't really done much to deserve that. I mean, he has been sneaky, yes, but he's getting a lot of stuff pinned on him that he is not responsible for. Basically, everything that Kevin does wrong, too, is put on Ramses. It's crazy. So, Paul is like, let's be careful, though. Let's not lump Alex in with that group because she is a team player. Last week, she helped Paul win the HOH competition. She agreed to go up on the block this week, and she tried to win the POV so that they could carry out their plan to backdoor Cody. So Paul is saying one of the people from our group needs to win this next HOH competition, and he's already planning out the nominees and everything. He would like Ramses and Jess to go up on the block, and then Jason would be the replacement nominee if necessary. Alright, so then Paul calls Alex up to the HOH room to talk, and Paul says, first let's talk about the obvious. Ramses, what are you thinking about him? And Alex says, well, he's not on our side. He's not, you know, he's not doing much for us. Did you see that competition? He was smoking it. So he's like, yes, I'm so glad that you said that. I'm glad we're on the same page about it. Okay, so then Paul is starting to butter Alex up a little bit. He's like, everybody likes you. Everybody wants to work with you, but Jason sucks, so maybe you should kind of like distance yourself from him a bit. And then he's telling her the plan for next week. Jess and Ramses are the targets, and then if somebody else has to go up, it will be Jason. And she's like, yeah, I warned Jason to stay away from Cody and Jessica. He's not freaking listening. There's only so much she can do. And I don't think she's planning on telling Jason how much danger he's in, because she just thinks that that's going to make him freak out even more. She's not trying to like sell him out per se, but she doesn't want to freak him out even more. Because then, can you imagine if Jason knew how much danger he was in? He would be a disaster, even more than he is now. So anyway, Paul brings up that he's really worried that Jason would vote to keep Cody if he's still up on the block next to Josh. You know, if it's Josh and Cody up on the block. So Alex is like, I get that. You know, who knows what the frig he's gonna do. So she says, Paul, I trust you. I'm cool with staying up on the block next to Cody if that's what you need. So she's like, honestly, that would be really great for me because she doesn't want to have to vote out Cody. She still feels like she owes him for last week. Girl, you took yourself off the block after he put you up. No! Okay, so then, moving on. There was some competitive programming on the feeds last night. You got Dominique's talk show in the Apple Lounge. You've got Paul's friendship chat up in the HOH room at the same time. So let's talk about Paul's thing first. He was just explaining his gameplay, blah, 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 blah. We've seen it, okay? We don't need the explanation. But I thought it was really interesting that he wanted to give a shout out to his season 18 people and tell them, like, if you guys hear me talking crap about you, don't think much of it, because he's just doing that so that this season's house guests think that he likes them better. I don't know. Alright, so then over to Dominique's show. I just have to say, I love that Kevin puts on a suit for these things. It's amazing. So the interviewees last night were Raven and Jason. I think Dominique actually asked Cody and Jessica to be guests first, and they said no. So Raven and Jason were up. So Raven was describing her experience with gastroparesis and her pacemaker and everything, and it was really emotional. I think a lot of people were holding back tears. And then Paul joined the lounge group after his friendship chat, and he announced that when he gets out of the house, he's going to be designing a Raven-themed shirt, and 100% of the proceeds are going to go to Raven. Aw, that's really sweet. I like that he's doing that. I think that's great. Alright, so later, Jessica and Paul were chatting in the HOH room. What? Yeah, you heard me right. Jessica and Paul. So she's realizing, I gotta get some shit going here because I'm about to lose my one and only. So Jess is like, I don't know how things have gotten so personal in the house. She's upset about that. She's still upset about Christmas's speech during the live eviction. She was really bothered by that, and I felt like she was like looking for Paul to say like, yeah, it was really messed up. But he wasn't gonna say that. So then she was saying like, I was genuinely concerned about Christmas's injury. Is that why you were just hanging out up in the HOH room when she got back from her MRI? I mean, really? And she was like watching from the door? Come on. So then she's asking Paul for advice on how to proceed, how to like basically get through to the end of this game. Why would Paul want to help you after all that? But anyway, Paul is saying, yeah, you're in a really tough spot right now. Maybe things will get better for you once Cody leaves. Things can change at the drop of a hat, you know? So then he's telling her it's really not a good idea to isolate yourself the way you have been. And Jess says, well, I don't want Cody to go through this alone. So Paul says, yeah, I get that, but you could still hang out with other people. He also mentions you've just met all of these people, including Cody, like only a few weeks ago. Get a grip. So he's saying like every week is a new week. And then Jess is getting emotional and she's like, but I thought I would still be close with you and Elena and Mark. I thought we were going to be best friends outside of this house. And Paul's just like, people suck. What can I tell you? You know? So then the conversation kind of changes here. Jess is like, Paul, I want you to win. And then she says, and you probably will because the game is stacked in your favor. Paul did not like that. Paul is like, no way. I don't think it's possible for me to win. I came into this knowing I probably wouldn't win because I'm the only vet here. So he said that people are probably going to target him immediately when his safety's over. And he's just like, I think it's ignorant that you would even think that. You would think that I have a chance at winning. So, whoa, it got like a little bit tense there. And Paul advises her to separate her emotions from her gameplay. That's basically like all the interesting stuff that happened in the conversation. It was pretty long. And after Jess left, Paul pretended to shoot himself in the head. Ooh, okay, so then Christmas was chatting with Matt and Raven in the Apple Lounge, and she lets them know that she got this week's temptation. She says it's not as good as Paul's, which was 3 weeks of safety, and she says she can't even really participate in it because of her injury. I don't think she actually told them what it does, though. I don't remember her telling them, and I'm surprised they didn't ask, because, like, if somebody was open enough to tell you that they got the temptation, wouldn't you ask them what it was? I mean, I would, but anyway. They are talking about the next targets. They agree that they are Jess, Ramses, and Jason. More so Jess and Ramses next week, and then Jason after them. But Christmas does not like Jason. She's got a bad taste in her mouth after he voted to evict her, after he helped break her foot. So yeah, she's not feeling so great about Jason right now. So then, in this conversation, swap out Raven for Paul. Paul comes in, and he is complaining about Jessica. He's like, she had the audacity to say that the game is stacked in my favor. And then he goes around telling everybody about this conversation with Jessica. Oh, boo-hoo, you got 3 weeks of safety. Anyway, Alex and Kevin were chatting later in the money bedroom, and they were discussing the other side's targets. Obviously, they realized that Jason is moving up on that list. So Alex says we might need to distance ourselves from him if he keeps ruining things like this, because it's not a good look for our games. And as much as Kevin wants to go after the other side, Alex is saying we need to continue to just play along for now, let the other side think that they're in control so that they're not coming after us. Makes sense? Okay. So then Alex and Mark were chatting in the kitchen, and they're talking about last week's vote. Now, they know that Josh was one of the flippers that voted to keep Christmas, but they're trying to figure out that last question mark. Alex thinks that it was Ramses that flipped, and Mark is saying, no, I think it was Kevin. So Mark is like, what if I just ask Ramses right now? So I thought he was going to, like, call him over, but he's just like, Ramses, who did you vote for last week? And Ramses says he voted to evict Christmas, and Christmas knows that, And then they're like, okay, well, who do you think flipped? And even Ramses is like, well, I don't know if it was Kevin. I don't think he'd do that. Oh my God, Kevin is really playing this off. Wow. All right, so then let's talk about what happened today. Mark and Dominique had a heart-to-heart, and he was talking about how he misses his mother, and they were talking about how they can open up to each other, and that's so great. She's like totally into him, right? I feel like Dominique is like in love with Mark, and he's like in lust with Elena. Dominique really likes to point out that Elena is jealous of their relationship. It's like a weird love triangle thing that they got going on there, but it's also like a square because Elena seems to have something for like Christmas and Paul and everybody. I don't know. So anyway, Alex and Jason were chatting in the living room. They're talking about how Ramses is a liar, blah, blah, blah. Alex also shares that the other side thinks that Kevin was the flipper last week, which is correct. But Jason is just like, I don't know. Oh, man. So then Alex is telling Jason again, you know, it might be a good idea for you to kiss Christmas's butt a little bit because she's spreading around a lot of distrust about you. People are noticing you talking to Jess and Cody a lot. They don't like that. And Jason's like, no, I'm not going to kiss Christmas's butt. That's not going to help my game. Do you know how this game works, Jason? Do you know how this game works? So then Cody comes over and starts talking to them. And Alex lets him know, Paul is leaving me up on the block. And Cody's just like, wait, what? I'm going to be up against you and not Josh? And she's like, yeah, because then I won't be able to vote for you to stay. And that'll also pull away potentially like Jason's vote and anybody else who's thinking about flipping so that Josh would go. So they can't do that now. But anyway, Cody tells them, guys, once I'm gone, you need to target the women. Because he thinks it'd be funny. Also, he thinks that it would be easier for him to beat them if there's a battle back competition. So he's like, yeah, Elena, Christmas, Dominique, just get rid of them and then I'll have a better chance to come back and work with you guys. And they're like, I don't know. Be kind of interesting. So then Jason, Paul, Mark, Kevin, and Elena were in the money bedroom, and Paul was really grilling Jason about Jess and Cody. He's super paranoid right now. And he's like, you're the only one that talks to them. What have they been saying? Are they trying to like build something up and stay this week? What's going on? So Jason's like, they're not really trying to rally. They've got no play this week. There's nothing that they can do. So he's saying that he's only been talking to them because they're all like Froggy family and they're all have-nots this week. So he's kind of stuck with them. And Paul's like, okay, but like let us know what they're saying. Alright, so anyway, the Power Veto Power Veto ceremony is tomorrow. It's looking likely that Paul will use it on Josh, and then Cody will go up in his place, and that's where we're at right now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Sorry for all the chaos, and until next time, much love.